about to go back in time, a couple years back in time, in fact, because I have been working on one single embroidery piece for a very long time now, and I've been vlogging the progress. Am I done with said embroidery piece that I originally estimated would take about 2 years to finish? No, not even close. Hello. It is a momentous day. Just kidding, it's a very average day, but it is the beginning of the end of the largest project I've ever undertaken. It is February... I genuinely don't know. February 26th, 2023. I feel like I have to throw the year in there because this could take multiple years. That's fun to think about. But last night, I finished my little side project, which put the Beauty and the Beast castle stained glass embroidery that doesn't have a shorter name on hold for a couple months, I think. How long have I been working on this? Oh, yeah. Last time I worked on the Beast was mid-November. It's been 3 months-ish. I have missed it a lot, but I did have great fun stitching the 100 Acre Wood map from Winnie the Pooh. Ta-da! And of course, 2 days ago, I started a new embroidery project, the Fantasia piece. So I momentarily was like, well, should I leave the Beauty and the Beast piece on hold until I finish the Fantasia piece now? But that just doesn't feel right. I have been longing to add some more color to the Beauty and the Beast piece for so long now, and yeah, I need to revisit my beastie. And that is why I am here, because today is the day. This one goes away on display, I suppose. The Beast comes out of storage. Let's do it! Before we go fetch the Beast from its lair, let's take a quick moment to chat about this video's sponsor, June's Journey. I first started playing June's Journey quite a while ago now, when Matt was away on business for months, and I was really struggling to give myself any breaks from work. I felt like I always had to be creating and I was wearing myself out. So it was really helpful to find a simple, enjoyable activity that was just for me, just to have fun and relax. June's Journey is a hidden object game featuring a thrilling mystery set in the glamour of the 1920s. We follow June, our brave and clever and a little foolhardy at times protagonist, as she tries to uncover the dark secrets surrounding her sister's death. Her explorations take her all over the world, where she encounters a diverse set of characters and must figure out who is friend and who is foe. Not only is the story of this game super fun to uncover for yourself, but each scene is so beautifully drawn, with a plethora of tiny details to catch your eye. There's also pretty much always some special event running, with mini games done in different styles, and clubs you can join to play along with your friends. You get this whole massive island of your own to decorate as you go, refurbishing the landmarks already there, like the lighthouse, and adding all sorts of delightful buildings and trees and animals of your own. I have a train! You can download June's Journey for free by clicking the link in the description below or scanning the QR code on screen. June's Journey is available on iOS and Android devices, as well as on PC. Now let's time travel our way back from the 1920s, but don't stop in the present. We're still back in 2023. I have found the perfect place to store this one for now. There were already hooks on the wall, so convenient. Blends right into all the beige. Off to the guest room. Hello, old friend, or nemesis. No, just kidding, I love you. She's been hanging out here for the last several months. It's actually a really good time to remove her because we have visitors coming soon. Also, sorry, the lighting in all of these rooms is just like, it's very dark and dreary and cold outside. We're going through a very cold February spell, even though I am currently dressed like it's spring. That's just me being insane. Time to go. We're back. Don't need these anymore. Dun, 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 dun. How I've missed you. I feel like I could just stare at this for a while, but let me try to focus. So I decided when I finished the castle that the next thing I would do is the remaining Bayou stitch sections. The clouds, the sun, and the 2 borders. Adding those big sections of color on here are going to look rather dynamic and be rather quick in comparison to the tiny little shingles, so it'll look like I've done a lot in a shorter amount of time. A good way to dive back in with motivation. Oh, hello. All right. You probably have muddy paws on my white skirt. But before I can stitch any of those sections, I have to go find the right floss colors for them. All my floss for this is still separated out in my studio and ready to go, but it's never easy to pick through, what was it, 130 plus colors to try to find the few that you need. But here we go. The colors. Not all of them though, because we also have all of these colors. These are the ones that I have already used, but might need to use again. I don't feel like figuring it out, which is why they're all still here. I have a lovely document where I've written down all of the colors that I need for each section, and luckily, these are pretty easy sections. I labeled them clouds, sun, and side panels. Let's start with the yellow, because that's gonna be the easy one. 742, 43, 44, 45, 725. All right, there's the sun. That was easy enough. Side panels. Oh, there's 825. Oh, we're just gonna have to take all of you off. This is a great way to store thread until you realize you need the one that's in the very back. Ooh, it's you. I don't think that's gonna be enough. That right there. Side panels. Pretty sure I'm gonna need more of a couple of these colors. And I seem to recall thinking to myself, it's fine, whenever you get to those sections, you can just run to Joann and get more of the floss you need, which is all fine and dandy until I happen to have gone to Joann 2 days ago to buy floss. Now I have to go back. All right, clouds. I can't remember what the clouds look like, and I have to go so far back to find my original photo. Browns, tans, and kind of pink. I feel like the orange is 970. Yes, it is. 19 is a weirdly popular color on this piece. I have found everything except 152, and I don't know what color 152 is. So we bring out Le color card. 152 is in row 16, which is orangish. 152, nope, it's a pink. Indispensable. Pink, 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 pink. Was I just not looking for you here? You know what I just remembered? When we were moving everything, at one point I looked down in the parking lot and there was a skein of pink floss that had been trampled on and was dirty. I don't know how it fell, but it did. And I was like, oh, that's from my Beauty and the Beast selection. And it was 152. And I feel like I made a note somewhere. You're gonna have to buy another skein of 152. Damn it, Patrice! But there is my cloud selection, minus 152, and I guess I'm going to Joann sometime in the near future. Back to the stitching corner. Alrighty. That's it, we're ready to sew. I feel like at this point I've shared pretty much all the information I could share about this piece. For anyone curious about my process, the preparation, even making the frame, those videos are already out. There's a whole playlist if you're interested in watching them. This one's just gonna be kind of a follow along on the process kind of video. And since I could be filming it for years, yeah, at this point I have no idea what I will be sharing with you in the upcoming footage, but take it away.
So it's only been one day. It is February 27th, 2023, but in doing my little exploration of my time card app that I used last night, I realized something that was fun. I put the very first stitches on this piece exactly 1 year ago. I can't remember what any of my original estimations were for how long this piece might take me. I feel like I said either like 18 months or 2 years. I could still see getting it done in 2 years, depending on like what happens in the upcoming year. I don't know how busy I'll be or what's gonna be going on. But yeah, it might be longer than 2 years, given the possibilities. But here's what I got done last night. Planned out all of the angles for these clouds and got the first one filled in. It of course still needs to be bayoued because right now it's just satin stitched, but you know what? Not a bad start.
Well, hey, hello. It is April 6th, I'm pretty sure, 2023. Hoofs. In a bit of very convenient timing, I finished sewing all of the clouds last night, and this morning I bought a plane ticket to Paris, which leaves very soon. So, I think it's going on hold again, this thing is, until I get back from Europe. Yay. I don't know how long that will be because I do not currently have a return flight. I appreciate that I at least got to like a stopping point before having to set it aside for probably at least a month, but y'all, it's looking good. The diagonal stitch holding, highly recommend. Oh, you're so sweet. We're gonna miss you so much. Y'all, if you wanna travel the world, like that's still a priority for you, don't get a pet. Even if you ignore all the hassle of finding someone to take care of them while you're gone, it still sucks just because you have to leave them and then you miss them the whole time. Mwah, you're such a good baby. So yeah, I just thought I'd update. I'm gonna clean up my little floss palette from the clouds, and then whenever I get back, I guess I'll move on to the sun. Probably. I kind of want to start sewing it right now, but I have so many other things I need to do. So I have to tell myself, no, this is going on hold. We're setting it aside. I'll come back to it and it'll be fine. See you in a few months, probably.
Lies. So it is April 16th, 2023. My flight to Paris leaves in like 2 hours, and I did not stop working on the castle. It doesn't leave in 2 hours. I need to leave for the airport in 2 hours. If it were leaving in 2 hours, we'd have problems. But yeah, my claim that I would end on that nice stopping point after finishing all of the clouds immediately, like that night, I was like, but wait, I have time and I want to sew. I thought about going back to the Fantasia piece and working on that instead, but I just really wanted to get that sun done. So now, the sun is not done. It's not at that lovely, perfect stopping place that I so enjoy for some reason, but that is okay. That is completely okay because I got a lot on it done. So whenever we get back, it'll be here, ready to be worked on, and I will be so glad to see it again. In other news, the thing that I greatly feared happening because I am so not careful finally happened. I spilled coffee on it. Y'all, I quite frequently am drinking my morning coffee while I work on this piece, and I drink my coffee in like teacups, but I fill them to the brim, dangerously high. I've spilled on the floor numerous times while carrying them, and I'll try to like not carry it over the piece. I'll try to kind of stay off to the side, but every time I'm like, how long until you spill this coffee on this freaking giant piece? Ironically, I was not drinking out of an overfilled teacup today. I didn't want to get any dishes dirty, so I just got some coffee from Panera with my breakfast. And I don't know how what just happened because I wasn't even like drinking out of it. The only thing I can think is that I like sloshed it as moving it, but I was literally setting it back down and somehow a big floppy drop of coffee went from this to the piece. So it was right here. Thank God it wasn't actually on the piece itself. It basically went bloop right there. As you can see, I pretty successfully got it out. I think it's all good. It's all wet right now. I have like press dried it as much as possible, and I'm about to blow dry it like crazy, so it's as dry as possible before I leave it here. But I think I successfully got the stain out. I don't see anything. Do you see anything? But y'all, I am not generally a fast mover. I'm not an energetic person, and you've probably never seen me move as fast as I just did. Fast and carefully. I took everything off of this, took it straight to the kitchen sink, and like sprayed it down with a little sprayer just in that corner. It pretty much came out, but I could still see like the slightest bit of brown outline where it was. So I got this spray stain remover that we happen to have in the laundry room, even though I'm pretty sure I've never used it before, and just sprayed a little bit right on it and rubbed it really hard and then rinsed that out, and I think we are all good. Have I learned my lesson, and will I never drink coffee near this thing again? No to the first part. I have not learned my lesson. I will definitely be drinking coffee near this again. Will I drink coffee even more carefully? Yes, I will be so careful now. So anyway, just wanted to give that little update. I'm gonna sew for another hour or so, and then I'm gonna go hop on a flight to Europe. Bye! Well, hello there. It is May 16th, 2023. I am back from France. Ended up spending a month there, which was glorious. I'm quite happy to be back home. And one of the first things that I did was come back to work on this piece, cause I missed it. So I've had a couple days now and I managed to get the sun completely finished, and that means that we are moving on to the side panels, which will be the last place I'm using diagonal stitch holding. Lots of new colors on this one. This is the first bit of blue and some more green going on, which is not heavily featured so far, which is why I was excited to do this sort of order where it was the castle and then the clouds, the sun, and then the side panels, because it really will end up kind of framing the piece at this stage and then having like an interesting array of colors. So I'm excited.
Come here. Oh, good boy. Hello. It is June 20th, 2023, and I have officially finished all of the diagonal stitch holding that is going on this piece. Side panels are done. We've got some blue and green on here now. It's looking great. From here on out, it is straight up satin stitch, much smaller sections, gonna be slow. Okay, bye. So this piece is actually going to go on hold again, mainly because I have a couple smaller embroidery projects that I need to do for family members, but also I really want to work a bit on the Fantasia piece. So I think I'm gonna finish the small ones, I'm gonna give some attention to the Fantasia piece, and then I'm gonna come back to this, which means the next time I'm working on this, we'll be in a new house. Cause we're moving again. Hooray! So this piece gets to travel again, which is of course always great and not at all terrifying. Anyway, I'll see you in like, I don't know, month, 2 months. I don't know when I'm gonna come back to it. Sorry, baby. Hi, we're back. Yay! We've moved again. This thing is making it through a lot. I have been longing to get back to stitching on this beast for a couple weeks now, but I swore to myself, I was like, you have to finish your Sashiko project first. You have to finish that, which by the time this video comes out, I'm sure came out so long ago. But yeah, I'm really trying to kind of narrow down the giant projects I have going on at once. I put a poll on Instagram to see where I should stitch next, and everyone voted for the two like side panel banner things. I already went through all of my thread and I found my color palettes for those two. I love that they're like completely opposite from each other. It is time. Welcome back, old friend. And now I have this new cozy nook complete with moss rug, and we just got our lighting put in, so I can actually see in here now. Let's stitch, yay!
It is December 21st, 2023. We are about to leave for our Christmas vacation to Orlando in like literally an hour, and I finished the side banner sections. Yay! I was so worried I would not finish them before we left. Not that it like matters, but it would have just been the slightest bit left over for me to finish after a 2-week break on it. And I was like, no, I need it to end perfectly before we leave. And it did. Huzzah. So with that, it kind of feels like I'm about halfway done with this. Hard to tell because the stitching is in, you know, random places, but it looks about halfway done, right? I'm pretty sure we are way past all predictions of time that I made. I think my prediction was like 2 years to finish the whole thing, and we're coming up on like 2 years, and we're only halfway done. But it's going on hold again for a little bit. When I get back from this trip, I think I'm gonna pick up the Fantasia piece and work on that one for a little. When I do come back to this one, it's gonna be time for those flower borders, and I know that's gonna be tough. It's very small sections. It's very repetitive, so I gotta psych myself up for that. But we'll get to it eventually.
It is April 18th, 2024. And the beast is back. I genuinely can't even remember when I stopped working on this. I feel like this is the longest break that I've taken from it. Kind of just because I think I was working on the Fantasia piece, and then I started working on a Bargello piece, and then I went back to the Fantasia piece. Am I delaying the inevitable time when I have to do these tiny floral borders? Probably. I mean, this is gonna be a slow portion. I did also miss it, and I'm super excited to start working on it again. And I should probably sticky roll it because there's a bit of dust and fur on there. You're so pretty. I already selected my colors though. I actually did that before I put the whole piece on break, so I think I'm gonna start with the smallest one, get myself back into it without too much pressure, and then move on from there. I like that they are all three completely different color palettes, and they're bright colors, so this will be fun. Let's do it.
It is October 31st, 2024. I am not done with the flower things that I set out to do. It's taken a very long time, but guess what? I finally broke the frame. It's made it through a lot, y'all, but yeah. Time to go grab the power tools.
It is February 26th, 2025. And we need to have a slightly longer update this time. It is the 2-year anniversary of the beginning of this video and the 3-year anniversary of the beginning of this piece. So my original 2-year estimation for finishing the whole thing has clearly been blown out of the water. I would say I have now reached the halfway point. I was saying that I was halfway done before I did the floral borders, and a couple people were like, I don't think so, that doesn't quite look like halfway. So okay, now I think we can officially all agree I have at least reached the halfway point. The floral borders are done, thank heavens. That was long. This was definitely the longest, section I've done. I think it took me longer to do those than to do the entire castle. I also somehow, despite all of my checking, ended up switching the colors on one of them. This final section that I did down here, the background of the purple flowers is supposed to be green and the stripes are supposed to be blue, if I recall correctly. But I had lined up all of my floss in order of how I was going to use it, or so I thought. I don't know if I just lined them up incorrectly or if they got switched at some point. It's okay. I'm not bothered by it, quite honestly. It was a little bit like, ugh. It is the least of my concerns. I am more concerned about the overall colors matching and the stitches being neat than hey, I made one little oopsie on the colors. In other sort of general news, I decided not to redo or to fix the frame that I very shoddily put together before I had any power tools or knowledge of woodworking. I am genuinely surprised that that thing lasted me, over 2.5 years? It held its own. I was considering fixing it. I was considering making a whole new one. And then I thought, you know what? Let me just buy nice official trestles from a nice official skilled woodworker. Let me support somebody who already does that and who does it better than I ever will. But yeah, why is it taking so long? What's the reason there? Well, life is significantly different for me now than when I first started this piece and made that 2-year estimation. I used to embroider a lot. If I had a day with nothing else planned, I could sit and embroider for 8 hours. That does not happen anymore for a multitude of reasons. 1, my body hurts too much if I stitch for that long. I just can't anymore. 2, life looks different, as I said. YouTube has become much more of a full-time job. Even though I was making YouTube videos back when I started this, I was not doing it as consistently. They weren't taking up such a big amount of my time, which is fine. That is my full-time job. Also, I have picked up numerous new hobbies and art forms since then. I want to sit down and do a puzzle now. I want to sit down and doodle now. Not to mention all of the other sewing and macrame, all the other various things that I've tried and picked up. This used to sort of be my main and sometimes only, I'm not working anymore, but I want to be doing something thing to do. Yeah, it was like either I'm filming a video, editing a video, or I'm stitching. That is no longer true. Now I have a larger variety of things that I enjoy doing in my downtime, so this just doesn't get as much work. On top of that, I have to say a big reason why the floral borders specifically took so much longer is because they were not fun to stitch. Generally speaking, I love a slow hobby. There's a reason that I do embroidery. A lot of people, it would not be for them. It is for me. I like slow, methodical, persnickety. I enjoy this, generally speaking. But even in things that you enjoy, sometimes there's little moments you have to push through of stuff that you don't enjoy. And the fact that all three of these sections are the same pattern, the fact that it's so small and repetitive, it was super boring. So I didn't have a grand amount of motivation to work on this, which meant that the progress was very slow, and slow progress means less motivation. And so it was kind of this just endless circle of not wanting to work on it as much. And then it's very small sections. So when I did work on it, I could stitch for 2 hours and there would be barely a noticeable change. But at last that's done. So I asked on Instagram, I did a poll of where I should start stitching next, and the like lightning and I don't know, fire and brimstone section over here won, which is great because that is going to be so much faster to stitch. Kind of in the same way that if you've seen the previous videos on this, it took me ages to do the castle, like months. And then I started doing the rocks below it, and they took like 3 weeks to finish. And so it's really nice when you've been doing one of the very slow sections to then jump to something that's gonna be like, woo, look at that progress. I'm excited for that. However, I have decided to end this video here. I will start a new vlogging video that you might see several years from now of the second half of this progress. Ultimately, one, because this is covering so much freaking time, like let's just end it. Two, because every time I added to this video, I had to go back and like rewatch the whole beginning of it. And it might not be drastically noticeable to you guys. Hopefully it's not, but maybe it is. But my editing style and my presentational skills have changed in 2 years. Good, you hope to grow. And I'm really tired of rewatching myself from 2 years ago. Can we wrap this up? Also, a lot of people have been wanting to just see a progress update on it. It's been 2 years since the last video on this piece. And what a perfect time that I got to like a halfway point and it's the 2-year anniversary, 3-year anniversary. Isn't that convenient? But before we go, I thought let's just go ahead and look at some hours. If you don't know, if you haven't seen the previous stuff in this, I decided on this piece, just like my previous Beauty and the Beast stained glass piece, that I would clock in and out every time I work on it. That is something I find difficult to do on projects, and I very rarely keep track of the time. But on these projects specifically, I thought it would be really cool to actually see the amount of hours that go into it. Because again, 3 years, what does that mean? How much have you been working in 3 years? This is not 3 years of full-time work. So I thought that clocking in and out would be a really cool way to have a visualization at the end of like how much work is an embroidery piece like this really. Let's look at the numbers. So just as a little reminder, because I find it fun, this was my first stained glass piece in this series. It's the one that's hanging in my studio right now. And it took me a total of 329 hours to stitch, which I accomplished over the course of 8 months. Things have changed. Did I mention things have changed? This one I've been splitting up into years and just at the end of every year from February to February, been calculating the hours so that I don't lose track of them, or like just in case the app randomly crashes or disappears or something. So year one, which was February of 2022 to February of 2023, I worked 204.56 hours. Year two, I worked 203.7 hours, so almost exactly the same, which is fascinating to me. And then year 3, 2024 to 2025, I worked 91.2 hours. Less than half of the years before. Interestingly, I also counted the number of weeks that I worked, because the way that the clocking in app that I have works is that if you clocked in at least one day in a week, then you have like that week comes up as an entry. If you never clocked in that week, then there's just no entry for it. So you can just go through and count like, how many weeks did I at least clock in one time? And what I find fascinating is that year 1, 28 weeks, year 2, 27 weeks, year 3, 28 weeks. I don't know, like, why did that happen? That seems very coincidental that it was like pretty much the same number every single year, even when the hours cut in half. So, in case you couldn't do the math yourself, because who wants to, those 3 years come to a total of 499.46 hours. 500 hours of labor, and we're halfway done. Yay! I mean, I love that though. I love seeing that number because like that's 500 hours that I have mostly enjoyed working on this piece and seeing it come to life. I think the second half will be fewer work hours, even if it takes another 2 years, simply because that first chunk of hours includes sewing the entire outline. And I think there were more slower, smaller sections in the first half than in the second half. So do I want to make another estimate? Oh God, I could be entirely wrong again, but my estimate right now is that it's gonna end up taking somewhere closer to 5 years for me to finish the entire piece. And I would guess 800 labor hours. We'll see how that pans out. In the next video that you'll see several years from now, woo! So yeah, that's 2 years of embroidery without you actually seeing any of the embroidery. No one wants to see me embroider for 2 years. It's very boring to watch. Also, I remembered that I started the Fantasia piece over here at the same time, which means I've now been working on that one for 2 years. And I think I am gonna take a small break before restarting on this one and give that one a little more attention. Here is the current progress on it. It's looking beautiful as well, but I'd love to fill in a little bit more of that before I come back to ye olde beastie over here. That's about it. Don't forget to download June's Journey using the link in my description or the QR code here on screen and start solving that mystery. That's something else I've been doing in my downtime, was playing June's Journey instead of stitching. Thank you for all the lovely encouragement all of you guys have ever given me to keep going on this, to finish it. I appreciate that. See you in another 2 years. I mean, I'll see you next week, but you know what I mean. Should I be drinking coffee next to this? History says no.